The average home in Belfast sat on the market for 150 days in Q1 of 2026. But homes that were priced correctly, they sold in 28. That gap, 28 days versus 150, is everything you need to understand about this market right now. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. I'm Jess with Remax Sheridan Cone here in downtown Belfast. Every quarter I post a local Belfast market report, and that's called the Beat of Belfast. Data-driven, hyper-local, and built specifically who want the real picture, not just the headlines. Q1 numbers are in, so let's get into it. First, let me give you some context. Through most of 2025, the Belfast real estate market, like a lot of coastal Maine, is running hot. Low inventory, high demand, homes selling in days, sometimes with multiple offers. It was definitely an unusual market. And if you sold during that window, you probably did really well. But markets do not stay in one gear forever. And what we're seeing now in Q1 is what I would call a correction back to fundamentals. Not a crash, not a collapse, a correction. Think of it like this. If the last 2 years kind of were described as the market sprinting, what we're seeing now is more of a healthy jog. Prices are still appreciating and homes are still selling, but the dynamics have changed and how you approach the market has changed. Whether you're buying or selling, you need to change and evolve with the current market. I live and work right here in downtown Belfast. I know the streets, I know the neighborhoods, I know the price points. Not from a spreadsheet, but from being in homes at the closing table in this community. What I'm sharing with you today isn't a national trend report with Belfast's name swapped in. It's actually what's happening here. That's what I want you to understand today. Let's start with the number that most people care about first. Home value. The median sale price in Belfast this quarter was $444,000. That is up 6.2% from Q1 in 2025. That median was $418,000. So let me be really clear about what that actually means. Belfast home values are still rising. We are not seeing a decline in pricing. We're seeing continued steady appreciation. Now, 6.2 might feel modest compared to the double-digit appreciations some markets saw in 2023 and 2024. But honestly, steady, sustainable appreciation is much healthier in the long run. It's the kind of growth that holds. For homeowners, this is great news. Your equity is likely in a very strong position. For buyers, it's a reminder that waiting isn't necessarily your friend. Values are not dropping, and the buyers who act thoughtfully and decisively tend to come out ahead. Now, here's where things really get interesting. And this is the number that I typically get most questions about: average days on market. In Q1 of 2026, that would equate to 92 days. Q1 of 2025, that number was 46 days. That is a 100% increase year over year. And by March, the average climbed to 150 days. I know what some of you are thinking, Jess, that sounds so bad. So let me explain why it's not, and also explain where it does matter. The 150-day average is being significantly pulled up by overpriced homes. Here's the split that really tells the story. Homes that were priced within 5% of recent comparable sales, meaning homes that were priced accurately from day one, sold in an average of just 28 days. Homes that were priced 10% or more above comparable sales, they sat for an average of 150 plus days. They ultimately sold for 94.4% of their actual asking price, meaning those sellers waited months and left money on the table. This is the most important thing I can share with any seller. Right now, overpricing your home doesn't get you more money. It costs you time, and in many cases, it costs you money too. Buyers today are doing their research. They're backed with educated professional realtors helping them and guide them to correct purchases, to smart financial investments. They're not going to overpay for a home that isn't priced to market. The good news is if you price right, Belfast buyers are still out there and they're moving very quickly. Let's talk about the inventory because both affect buyers and sellers. We have had 26 active Belfast listings during Q1 in 2026. That is up from 21 homes in Q1 of 2025. That is a 23.8 increase. Now, 26 homes is still a relatively modest number for a market like ours, but the direction is what matters. More inventory means more competition for sellers. If your home is hitting the market as several others in a similar price range, presentation and pricing become your competitive edge. For buyers, more inventory is generally a good thing. You have more options, more time to make decisions, and less pressure to waive contingencies, which I never recommend, or make any rushed offers. The other number I look closely at is the absorption rate. That's how long it would take to sell at the current inventory if no new listings come on the market. So in Q1 of this year, 2026, that number is 3.76 months, and that is up from 2.48 months in Q1 of 25. Here's the benchmark you want to know. Under 6 months is considered a balanced market. So at 3.76 months, Belfast is still in balanced territory. We're not tipping into a buyer's market. We're just finding the equilibrium. Here's a stat that buyers especially want to hear. The sale to list price ratio in Q1, and that is 97.6%. What that means in plain English, that buyers are on average paying about 2.4% below asking price. If you compare that to the height of the pandemic market, sometimes waiving appraisals, paying at above or over asking, this is a meaningful shift. Now, 2.4% might not sound like a lot, but on a $444,000 home, that's roughly $10,000 in negotiation room. And for well-prepared, educated buyers who have their financing lined up, they're working with a strategic partner, a local agent who knows actual comps, there's real opportunity here. The buyers who are winning now are the ones who are doing their homework, knowing their numbers, and come to the table ready, prepared, educated. That preparation is your leverage. Okay, let me speak to sellers for just a minute. If you're thinking about listing your home in 2026, whether that's spring, summer, later in the year, here is what Q1 data is telling you. Number one, price right from day one. I cannot stress this enough. I'm still going on listing appointments where sellers are trying to market their home above market price and then leaving some room to negotiate down. Why? The data is unambiguous. Homes priced accurately sell quickly in 28 days or less. Homes that are overpriced sit 4 months and sell for less. I know you know the old saying, time is money, but truly, time is money. How much do you value your time? I know it's tempting to test the market at a higher number. But in this environment, in this economy, that strategy is working against you. It is not a sales pitch. It is data facts. Number two, plan for a longer timeline. A well-positioned home should expect between 60 and 90 days on market. That is not a problem. That's just the market. Build it into your planning so that you're not stressed out if you're not under contract in a week. Don't stress yourself out. Have realistic expectations for your transaction. Number three is investing in your presentation. With more listings competing for buyers' attention, professional photography should be a no-brainer. Staging should not even be a question. Decluttering your spaces should not be a question. Strategic marketing are what is getting buyers to your door. This is just not an optional add-on anymore. And lastly, number 4, strong prices are still achievable. A 6.2% increase year over year in the median price tells you that demand is real. Sellers who prepare their homes and price them correctly are actually walking away with excellent results. The market is rewarding strategy and preparation on both sides. And for buyers, you've been sitting on the sidelines maybe waiting for the right moment. I totally get that. But Q1 might be the most favorable conditions you've seen in a few years. There is no right time to buy. There is no right time to sell. The right time is when you're ready and prepared and educated to implement the plan. And you understand where the results are going to end up. Buyers have more homes to choose from. Active listings are up nearly 24%, which means you're not fighting for that one available home in your price range. You may have to be flexible on your location, but you still have room to negotiate. That 97.6 sale to list ratio means more sellers are coming to the table. A well-prepared buyer with solid financing can negotiate both on price and terms in a way that simply wasn't possible in 2024. And if you have the time to make a good decision, the frantic 24-hour offer environment has significantly cooled down. You can tour homes, do your due diligence, and make a thoughtful, compelling offer. My advice for buyers is to get your financing in order first thing. Before anything, before looking, before talking to a realtor, first things first, order your financing. Get your financing in order now so when the right home comes along, you are ready to move. Because well-priced homes are still going quickly, sometimes 24 hours. The buyers who win in this environment are patient, but they're very decisive. Before I wrap, 3 things I'll be watching closely heading into Q2. Whether spring price inventory holds, whether inventory keeps climbing, and whether seasonal buyer demand shows up the way it typically does in Midcoast Maine. I'll have all of it in the report for Q2 this summer. So that's the Belfast market as it stands right now, Q1 2026, and heading into Q2. Values holding, inventory growing, and strategy mattering more than it has in years. If you want the full written version of this, the Beat of Belfast, you can either send me an email, DM, you can check out my website. I'll have all the details below in the description. It's free, it's quarterly, it's the same data I just went over with you, but it's in a format you can save and reference. I'm Jess, your Midcoast Maine realtor from Remax Jared & Cone in downtown Belfast. And I'm always happy to walk you through it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.